The image, the logo is this bear. And way back when I worked, you see some bears all around, I worked for a magazine called Speak Magazine, which I was part of from the very beginning, 21 issues or so. There was a bear in one of the first ads for the magazine. I just stuck this bear in it, and I wanted to use it as a mascot for the magazine all the way through. But Dan, who was the publisher, not like animal mascots. He said anything against them. So I said, so someday when I have my own firm, I'm going to keep this bear. And so I had the logo before I ever had a name. And so when I went out on my own, I had this image of the bear, and he looked kind of hungry. He's sort of walking around. I can show you later. But you know, he's walking around, right? And so I thought, well, I have to come up with a name. And so appetite, it looks like a bear that has an appetite. And he's not the kind of bear that's going to tear you apart. He's not that kind of hungry bear. He's the kind of bear that would like walk to 7-Eleven maybe and buy something to eat. So appetite, and then I needed something to make it sound more serious, because there's so many of these one-word firms around, which I really, yeah, like kids. I didn't want that, so I just added engineers, and then it was only afterwards that I realized, well, you know what? That's what designers do, is they engineer an appetite for whatever your client needs. So it actually ended up working, except a lot of people think that we specialize in restaurants or you know, do that kind of thing, which we don't. But so it's in fact the fact that the meaning of the name of the firm happened after the fact is maybe a perfect explanation of kind of how we work a lot, where we don't just get the brief and hone in on it. A lot of it happens with experimenting and playing first and letting that help find a solution for you, which is not usually the way it works. This is what I mean about starting by the hand and then moving in with photography back and forth into the digital realm. It ultimately has to be digital, but trying to bring all these different processes together to create something new, something different. In this case, I just started by putting letters in this for AIGA, and I had no idea. So I thought, well, I'll just use the letters. And so, you know, it took a long time, but as you slowly build, and it starts to feel kind of like a tree. It starts to do its own thing. It starts to have a life of its own, and you're just responding to how things land. Some of the products are done in the museum literature, which just came out. So there's these mugs. I wanted to do a different kind of collage, so in this case, what I did was take the elements and just put them on a thread. You can see the thread going through. Here's a version, the actual ones that I used, the museum has right now. But so you just string it, you just spend a weekend, right, just cutting these out and just threading them, and then you just drop them on the scanner, and however they land is what happens. But also book design, I do a lot, probably more book design than anything else. This just came out on Street Art San Francisco. So, but trying to, because this is about handcrafting, but trying to come up with a way of crafting type. So in this case, you know, all of the punctuation I put in a different font and a different size, so I'd have to go in to the text and do it period by period. But I mean, it's not unlike doing these things. It's all part of that, the developing, what I always tell my students is making design difficult. Finding ways to challenge yourself by making things hard. And because that's when you get results that you can't predict. And so I just wanted the page to sparkle. And I thought, well, gee, if the periods were a little larger and round, because the font, they were square periods, and then adding these little rhythmic things between paragraphs, and then the larger diamond shape. So just building structures and languages on top of each other, which, you know, if you look at the area, that's what it looks like. That's part of the city. So it's trying to find a typographic translation that's not a cliche for what's happening out in the mission.